Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Cody Miller here, General Manager and part owner of Renewal by Andersen. Cody, thanks for jumping on with me.
Hi, Stacie. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Anybody who is in Wisconsin has heard of Renewal by Andersen, so I'm really excited to be able to share a little bit more of the history about Renewal by Andersen in your business. Is that okay if we talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here we go. When people ask you what Renewal by Andersen does, how do you describe your business?
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it really is that we're the full service, start to finish window replacement company of Andersen Corporation. So, Andersen Windows, long, rich history, been around since the early 1900s, but they really have two different segments. They have a new construction segment and then a replacement segment, and that's us at Renewal by Andersen. So we're the only ones in this part of the state that can sell and install this window. And really what they were looking to do back in the early 90s is really fill this gap or this void that was in the industry. And what I mean by that, prior to the launch of Renewal by Andersen, to get Andersen windows, you had to go to a lumber yard, to a builder, order them yourself, and then you had to figure out, okay, how do I make sure I got the right sizes, all the right options for my area? Who's going to install it? Is that me? Is that somebody else? And as you can imagine, that becomes very, very fragmented, right? And there's a lot of hands in the pot there. And the more lines of communication, the more people that are touching the product, there's a lot more that can go wrong, right? And
Oh,
Andersen, saw that as well, especially when it came to install. So their whole goal was to create this start to finish experience for these homeowners that didn't know where to start. How do I go about replace my windows? Well, that's where we came in, and it includes everything from an initial design consultation where we meet with the homeowners, assess what's going on with their current windows, and then really go through this design process, figure out what do they want this to look like, at
mhm.
the end of the day, and how do they want the windows to perform? What benefits do they want out of this? But from there, we have a dedicated concierge team that works directly with the homeowner for every different touch point and scheduling. So we do all the measuring ourselves, we do all the ordering ourselves, we do the installation, and even back it up with the full transparent warranty after the fact. So it's really that start to finish full replacement process that Renewal has done for a very, very long time.
Sure. And I've got to imagine because Andersen is such a well-known and respected brand that if somebody else was putting it in and not putting it in correctly, it does cause those problems where when they started this, they were able to really just 200% stand behind that product and how that product is installed. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, the reality is you can have the best window in the world, but if it's not installed correctly, it doesn't mean anything. That window will not perform. So it's really about owning that process from start to finish and becoming that expert, around the product, around the installation, around, what is, the scheduling look like. And that's really what we're in this place to do.
Love it. So you talked a little bit about the history of Andersen and Renewal by Andersen. What were your plans when you got involved with Renewal by Andersen? How have they changed?
It changed a lot. I don't know that I had a direct plan at that time. I've been in this business for about 13 years, so that was about at age 24. And I had gotten into this. An old friend of mine, actually an old manager, had reached out and said, "Hey, you got to come and interview. I'd love to talk to you." And it was super appealing to me. It was a brand that I could get behind.
Mhm.
My dad was also a contractor in his career, and so I had a little bit of experience around home improvements. And it's like it was a really good match at that time. So I said, "Why not jump in head first?" And found a lot of enjoyment out of working with homeowners and kind of helping build their remodeling dreams. And seeing the smiles on their faces after everything was completed, right?
Yeah.
And so, at that time, I didn't really know what the future held, but I've been blessed with several opportunities. Helped manage a sales team for a better part of 10 years. Had an opportunity last summer to become the general manager for this business, and then last fall, part owner. So a
Wow.
lot of it has happened somewhat quickly and unexpectedly, but super grateful for those around me that have helped me all along, the way, and allowed myself to develop, as a professional. And, it's now my turn to get back to the employees here in our business.
Well, that leads me right into my next question. Congratulations, by the way, on your success you talk about helping other employees. What is the biggest way you impact the community? Obviously, you're working with other people to grow them and their careers. You want to touch on that and other ways you impact the community, please?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's a big one for us. And I'll share with you a little bit of our mission and vision statement. Our mission statement is do well, do good. And
Mm,
really what that means to us is that we believe that we can be successful in this business, right? But becoming successful in this business also allows us opportunities to become successful human beings too. And if we can have opportunities to give back to individuals or communities, that's where we feel like we make our biggest impact. And it's not just about monetary contributions. It's about involvement. It's your volunteering your time. It's the gesture to me, I guess, that's most important for
absolutely.
those that are in need. And so, that's kind of been our moral compass all along the way. In addition to that, the first line of our vision statement reads to be a world-class organization committed to improving the lives, homes, and communities that we live in. And certainly, we serve a purpose with our product and installation and building these projects for our homeowners. But I think you have to have something more that your team of employees fight for, more than a
Mhm.
paycheck, right? A greater good that's out there. And so what we've started to do is really cast that vision. It's at the forefront of every single meeting. We talk about what that means to us. We highlight those examples of, what we've done really well within our community. And so there's a number of different events that we do throughout the year. Some are small, some are big. Probably our largest one really is we do this event called Windows for a Cause. It's
Okay.
every fall, and really what it is a lot of these older windows that otherwise would go in a landfill,
Mhm.
we'll actually repurpose them. All right, so instead
Oh,
of throwing them out, we'll take them, set them aside. You can imagine like these single pane windows, right? These super old
yep,
windows.
yep.
And so we'll have whether it's employees of ours or local artists, we'll have them actually paint and design different images on them. And then every
Cool.
fall, we gather them all up and we hold this big auction event. And so every year we've sponsored a Make a Wish child, and so
Oh,
we've
awesome.
we've we've sent some to Disney World. I remember a few years ago there was a girl that wanted to meet all the princesses. Right. Last year we sponsored a child to go whale watching. And that has been probably the most rewarding event that we do. You don't really know what other people are going through until you see it firsthand, and to be able to make an impact like that,
Mm.
um, super rewarding. And it's a way for us to all come together and rally behind a greater cause. So it's stuff like that that we do and that we keep front and center day in and day out in this business.
That is so cool. And not only are you saving things from going into the landfill, I mean, there's an environmental impact, there's a social impact to that. It's interesting. I just saw, I was at the Brewers game on Saturday night and they did a make a wish, and this kid got to come out with stormtroopers and throw the first pitch. And it's those moments that you're participating in that just make you cry and know that humanity is at its best and we're going to keep doing great things. So that's beautiful that you share that. I can't wait to see some of those windows and that artwork and be a part of that
It's
as
super
well.
cool. We'd love to have you at that event.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. And I also love the fact that you did share your mission, vision, and culture. That's something our coaches really push our clients to do, to make sure that their employees understand, what that greater purpose is, because the reality is people do want purpose behind their lives more than just that paycheck. So thank you for sharing all of those beautiful things.
Yeah.
So, Cody, my next question for you is, what is one challenge that you have faced that other business owners and leaders could learn from?
Yeah, yeah, another really good question. I mean, I think at least if I look back at my journey as when I started as a general manager, and then an owner, there's a lot of reflection you do, right? And there's a different level of responsibilities,
Mhm.
that come with it. It's a bigger team. It's all that, and I wish I would have done more of this earlier on in my career as a sales manager too. But what we've made a really concerted effort for towards end of last year, this year, is really aligning our entire team on the
Mhm.
ultimate goal. We have separate departments, right? And if you don't have conversations around what that end goal is and how we help each other, you end up creating these silos, right?
Yes.
And so, I think that the team alignment is super important, that we understand how each other impacts one another. Um, but I think another challenge that hasn't been prioritized until over the last year is really putting training at a forefront too. I'll go back
Mm-hmm.
to our vision statement to become a world-class organization. Well, how is world-class defined? It's really the vantage point of your customers, right? And the more you put into your people, your employees, the better they're able to serve our customer base, right? And so, we've really made an effort to make sure that, again, every start of every meeting, we're talking, our vision. What are we doing today? Why are we here? What's our greater purpose? And the byproduct of that, we do a lot of surveying. We ask for a lot of feedback from our customers,
Okay.
good, bad, or ugly, right? It's
Sure.
it's 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 all fair game. What we've seen in this transition is not just more positive comments, it's comments around their entire experience. Where maybe in the past it was, oh my gosh, the installers were fabulous. They did such a good job. The work they did, they were efficient and they cleaned up after themselves, all that great stuff. Or, oh, you had a great design experience with so and so. Now we're starting to see more of this, from start to finish. The communication was top notch. It started with their design consultant. We had great communication with our concierge. The installers were polite and friendly and took well care of us. They even did this. And so through the promotion of the do well, do good kind of mentality,
Yeah.
and keeping that at the forefront, that's really, it. We're not perfect yet, right? But that's what we're striving to. We're seeing uh, some of the momentum roll in our favor. It's really cool.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for investing in your employees and training them, because that ripple effect just, yeah, it completely goes out to the customers and the circle goes back around. So that's really,
Mhm.
really great that you shared that. Thank you. So my next question, Cody, is what does the future look like to you, and do you have an exit plan?
Exit plan. Margaritas, a beach, sunshine, maybe
Right?
something like that, right? No, I've honestly, I haven't really thought about that. I think I got a long road ahead of me, and excited for what the future holds. But when I look at the future, I mean, really, to me, it's promising. One of the things that I really love about this business is, um, uh, it's less turbulent. And
Mhm.
if you think about today's state of the economy, interest rates are rising, right?
Mhm.
And what ends up happening is that you see less and less new homes that are being built, but that's impacting more of the new construction business, right?
Sure.
Being in the remodeling business, people in these times tend to stay in their home longer and make these improvements. Or I think back to the COVID years, right, where people were at home more and unsure of what was going to happen, and they invested a lot more. We saw the benefits of that too. And so,
Um,
it's almost recession proof, but it's a because of that, it's a very promising future. We have a lot of opportunity to grow within our own market, other opportunities as well outside. So it's exciting to see what happens.
Absolutely. Love that. So my final question for you is, all subjects open. What inspires you most?
That's an easy one. That's my two girls. That's my
Oh,
my two young girls at home. It's been the best job I've ever had, to be a girl dad, and something I thought I would be terrible at. Didn't sure if I ever wanted it, but I would have traded for the world. And one of the things for me is it's so cool to see them grow and learn, but have this persona about them where they're unbiased and unconditioned to the world around them. They're so instinctive at that age, and we talk a lot about, with our teams here at work. We talk about mindset. It's how you approach every single day. If you wake up in a bad mood and you're upset about this or that, I mean, you're going to have a bad day, right? It's about being more positive. It's about the outreach that you have to others, whether you like them or not,
yes.
right? And to see that in my two daughters gives me kind of that energy or that fuel, to realize that, whether it's my home life or professional life, we're all instinctive human beings, right? It's a matter of how do you untap that potential. And I
Mhm.
think we can find that, um, the possibilities are endless. So, but they keep me on my toes every single day. They make me smile every single day and make me one very proud father.
Oh my gosh, it's got to be easy to wake up and see those faces and go and spread that joy to your employees. Then I love that. So thank you so much for your time, really showing us the leadership behind Renewal by Anderson's and a great company to work for, a great company in the community. If somebody wants to work with you, Cody, what's the best way for them to get in touch with Renewal by Anderson?
Yeah, a couple great ways to get a hold of us. You can go online, renewalbyandersen.com. And then there's, if you want to, set up a consultation, there's a form right there on the front page that you click on. So you could go that route, or you could contact us on our phone number. Local number is 920-593-5751. Either way, let us know that you heard about us on this show, and we'd love to help you out in any way that we can.
Very, very cool. And if somebody wants to go to the Windows, is it Windows for a Cause? What
Yeah,
was that? How would
yeah.
they find out more about that? You said that's in the
Yeah, so
fall.
there's going to be more updates on our website. I believe that there was just a date that was finalized over the last week that hasn't been publicized. So there's more to
Okay.
come on that.
Okay.
But if anybody's interested, again, feel free to go online and see that update when it pops up, probably in the next couple of weeks. If not, give us a ring if you're interested, and we'd be glad to talk to you about it and let you know any way that you can participate.
Super exciting. So many great things that you're doing in the community, Cody. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a very prosperous 2023.
All right, same to you. Thank you, Stacie.
Bye. Thank you.